Tonight's dinner was another really easy crock-pot dinner. First, I'm grabbing around a 4-pound chuck roast, and I am cubing mine up into 4 big cubes. And if you want, you can chop off any of the really big fat chunks. I did leave a lot on too. Add a little oil to those, and then whatever kind of steak seasoning that you would like. Make sure to get all the sides. Then you're gonna grab a large skillet and then heat that to a medium to high heat, and then sear it on all the sides. Once those are all seared well, you're just gonna remove them from the pan. Then I'm adding around 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter to the same pan. And now I'm adding a sliced onion once that butter is about melted. Toss that around for a few minutes. And now you're gonna add a splash of beef broth to this just to deglaze it a bit. And just keep cooking those onions for a while. And then you're gonna add the rest of that beef broth. So 4 cups total. Then I'm adding around a tablespoon or 2 of some Worcestershire sauce. And heat that to a boiling, and then I'm adding a cornstarch slurry. I'm doing 2 tablespoons of cornstarch with 2 tablespoons of water. So we are not using any packets today or any condensed soup. Now you're gonna add that meat to your crock pot along with that beef broth and those onions. And then I cooked mine on high for around 5 hours. I would say low around 8 hours. And then you're gonna remove any of the nasty fat from it and then shred it all up. We are making some French dip sandwiches with ours. We always get these rolls from Walmart. They're pretty cheap. And then I'm gonna use the rest of them for some French toast. I am toasting my buns with a little butter and then garlic and herb seasoning, putting that meat on there with some provolone cheese. Top it with some pepper, and then you're gonna broil those until all that cheese melts. Then take some of those juices from your crock pot, and then you're gonna dip those sandwiches in there. This is such an amazing, easy dinner. I hope you guys give this one a try. Let me know if you do. Tonight's dinner was a really easy chicken stir fry with noodles. First, you're going to grab a separate bowl, and I'm adding 3/4 cups of low sodium soy sauce and 3/4 cups of low sodium chicken broth. And then you're going to add a couple teaspoons of ginger paste, and then 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and about 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. Then whisk in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Now set this aside for later. Now grab 2 to 3 pounds of chicken, and I'm keeping mine up. And then season it really well with whatever you want. I am adding some red pepper flakes, some pepper, and some salt. I do wish I would have seasoned it a little more. Now grab the largest skillet you have and add a couple tablespoons of oil to that, and then heat it up. Also, go ahead and fill your pot with your water and get that boiling for your noodles. Throw that chicken in when it's nice and hot. And while that is cooking, I'm also cutting up 2 bell peppers, and I just bought the packaged shredded carrots, and I'm adding mushrooms too. Cook that chicken about 4 minutes until it is all finished cooking, and then set aside. I grab those veggies and then throw them in with a few tablespoons of oil. And these are the noodles that I'm using, these stir-fry rice noodles. Those only cook for about 4 to 6 minutes. Once those noodles are done cooking, you're gonna throw everything in with the veggies. So add the chicken in, add your sauce in, and then grab those noodles and throw those in. I put my heat on hot here and just kept mixing it until everything got a little thicker. This one was so tasty, I had Lena going back for seconds. The kids are officially out of school for the summer, so today we're making a delicious little treat. I'm making strawberry brownies and lemon brownies. You're gonna grab a strawberry cake mix and a lemon cake mix, and then put those in 2 separate bowls. Add 1/3 cup of oil to each of those, and 2 eggs to each as well. You're gonna mix this up really well, and make sure to put a little oil on your spatula when you're mixing it, because it is a little sticky, kind of like cookie dough. Now you're gonna grab 2 8x8 pans, and then line those with some parchment paper. I'm adding the strawberry one in first, and then you're just going to flatten it out as good as you can, and then do your lemon one. You're going to bake these in your oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. And then while those bake, I'm making the icing for both of those. To 2 different bowls, you're going to add 3 ounces each of softened cream cheese, and then 1 cup each of powdered sugar, and then mix those both up really well until nice and combined. And for my lemon one, I'm adding the juice of a lemon and just mix it up. And for the strawberry one, I'm smashing up 2 strawberries, adding that in, and just mixing up. And then once those both come out of the oven, you do need to let them cool down all the way. I ended up putting mine in the fridge for a while just to make it a little faster. Now once those are cooled, you're going to add your icing to the top and just spread them out really well. And then you're going to cut those into squares and enjoy. These are truly so good. I hope you guys give this one a try. Let me know if you do. I'm making a really easy, really delicious dinner again tonight. First, I'm cooking about 1.5 pounds of ground beef, just like you would make your tacos. So grab your taco seasoning. Once that meat is cooked, you're going to drain the grease and add your taco seasoning. Usually I do make this meal with chicken instead of the ground beef, but one of my followers said that she tried it with ground beef instead and said she loved it, so we're trying it this way. All right, now to a casserole dish, you're going to add 2 boxes of the Spanish rice-a-roni, or you could do the Mexican kind. Then take 3 1/4 cup of beef broth and mix that seasoning in there. That came with the rice-a-roni, and then you're just going to dump that into your casserole dish. Now add a can of diced tomatoes with green and chilies, and your cooked ground beef. When I do chicken, I usually just cut raw chicken up and place it in there about a pound or so and use chicken broth instead of beef broth. I'm adding some butter this time, and you're going to cook this 375 degrees for 45 minutes to 1 hour until that rice is cooked. Then heat up your favorite queso and pour that all over the top. This is such an easy and delicious dinner that my family loves. I hope you guys give this one a try. Let me know if you do. Tonight's dinner was Mississippi beef sloppy joes on garlic bread. This dinner was so incredible. It only took like 10 to 15 minutes to make too. First, you're going to take this garlic toast and then put that on a sheet pan and bake it as the directions say on the package. Then you're going to cook 1.5 pounds of ground beef. When that's done cooking, you're going to drain that fat, then add whatever seasonings you want. I'm using this one. Oh, and an onion would have went great in there. Then you're going to add 3/4 cups of beef broth to this. And then 1 packet of the au jus gravy mix. Just toss that up some, and then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of the ranch seasoning. Mix again, and then you're going to add your pepperoncinis. I'm doing about 1/4 cup of the juice, and then about 1/2 cup of the pepperoncinis. Mix this up really well, and then let it sit for like 5-ish minutes until everything thickens up nicely. Once that garlic bread is done cooking, you are going to make little bowls out of them with a spoon, just like this, and then fill them up with that meat mixture. And then you can top it with whatever kind of cheese you want. We are using provolone cheese, and then I am sprinkling a little bit of pepper on the top. I'll put this back in the oven for around 5 minutes or until it's all melted on the top. These were so amazing. We will be making this one all the time. Let me know if you give this one a try. Tonight's dinner was absolutely amazing. My kids really love this one too. They went back for seconds. First, I'm taking this family pack of top sirloin steaks and just slicing that up and then slicing it in half. Then just add it to a bowl, and then you're going to add a couple dashes of soy sauce to this and then some pepper. And now you're going to add about 1/2 tablespoon of cornstarch. Just toss that up real well. Then you're going to make a really simple teriyaki sauce. I'm starting with 1 cup of water, 1/2 cup of soy sauce, 1.5 teaspoons of ginger paste, and then 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and then 2 tablespoons of honey. Then I added about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Just whisk this up really well and just set it aside for now. Then take a large skillet, and you're going to add around 1 tablespoon of oil to that, and then you're going to add your steak in. Cook that steak at a medium to high temperature, and then flip it after 2 minutes. And then cook another 2 minutes, and then just toss up for about 30 seconds. Now you're going to remove that from the pan and just set it aside for now. Then to that same pan, you're going to add about 1 tablespoon or 2 of oil, and then about 3 cloves of chopped garlic. And now you're going to add about 3 cups of cooked rice. It is better if it is a day old. I cooked mine in the morning. So we're making kind of a fried rice. Cook that rice for a few minutes, and then you're going to add your sauce in there, and then just toss it up really well, and then add your steak back to your pan. Toss up again, and then you're going to top it with some sliced green onions. This dinner is so delicious, and we'll be having this one all the time. I'm making another one-pan dinner tonight. I make something similar to this at least once a week because it's simple, easy, and just really good. This time I'm cooking 1 pound of Italian sausage. Then you're going to grab whatever kind of pasta that you want. This kind of pasta right here has been our current obsession. It is the best. So add 1 pound of that to your pan, and then you're going to add this whole carton of chicken broth. You're going to do 4 cups. And you can always add veggies to this, so when you're cooking that sausage, you could have done some peppers, onions, whatever. We just had a veggie tray as our side tonight. And now I am grabbing some sharp cheddar cheese. I am going to shred up the whole block right now, but I'm only going to use about half. Then you can season this up however you want. I am using this onion and herb seasoning, and you're going to cook this until that liquid has been absorbed. So it's going to be around 8 to 10 minutes. Now grab some heavy cream, or you can use half and half here, and add about 1 cup of that. And then I'm adding some of this Boursin cheese, and this cheese gives it so much flavor. Then I'm adding 1 cup or so of that shredded cheese. And now you're just going to start mixing it until everything is smooth. This is another 1-pan pasta that was a big hit with my family. I hope you guys give this one a try. Let me know if you do. I am making my favorite meal today. I eat this throughout the week. It is just so good. First, I'm taking some frozen tortellini, just adding that to my sheet pan along with some mushrooms and then some broccoli. And you can change up these veggies. Sometimes I do cherry tomatoes. Then I'm taking a smoked sausage link and just slicing that up and adding it to my sheet pan as well. I didn't want to dirty up a bowl here, so I am just adding everything to the sheet pan. And my sheet pan was not large enough this time, so you do want a really large sheet pan for this one. Now you're going to add just a couple tablespoons or so of some olive oil and then some pesto. pesto. I almost did this entire jar of pesto, but I do really love pesto, so you don't have to do as much as me. Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes, and I did toss mine up about halfway through. And then when that comes out, you're going to top it with some freshly shredded Parmesan cheese, and then I'm also putting a little bit of red pepper flakes to the top as well. This meal is so quick, so easy, and really amazing. It is really one of my favorites. I hope you guys give this one a try. Let me know if you do. Today I made these party cracker sandwiches for lunch. They are great for an appetizer though, and they are so good and really simple to make. First, you're just going to grab some Ritz crackers, and I'm using a tube and a half of these. Now line these on a cookie sheet, or you could use a 9x13 pan. And now you could add whatever kind of meat you want, but we are adding pepperoni. I think that one's the best one. We're doing about 3 to 4 pepperonis on each cracker. Now you can add whatever cheese you want. We are adding some Colby Jack cheese and then putting those on top of our pepperonis. Now top it with the rest of your crackers. Then in a small bowl, you're gonna melt half of a stick of butter. And I'm doing about a half a teaspoon or so of each of these seasonings, and then mixing that up really well. I did add a bit more ranch than the rest of the seasonings. Now pour that butter mixture all over your crackers. You're going to use every bit of it. Now bake these at 350 degrees for 13 to 15 minutes until they're a little golden, and you're going to let those sit in your pan for a bit. Now you are ready to eat. These are so amazing. I hope you guys give these a try. Let me know if you do. Today for a little snack, I made dill pickle cracker sandwiches. These are so good. They would make the perfect appetizer for a pickle lover. These are incredibly simple to make too. First, I'm taking a half of a stick of butter, melting that in the microwave, and then adding a couple teaspoons each of some dill weed, ranch seasoning, and then I'm adding some Soccer Mama seasoning for a little spice to mine, but you don't have to add that if you don't want to. Just mix this up really well and then set it aside. Now take a sheet pan, and then I'm lining mine with some parchment paper for an easier cleanup, and then I'm lining that with some Ritz crackers. I used a tube and a half of Ritz crackers. Now take some sliced dill pickles and then put those on top of your crackers. And now you can use whatever cheese you want. I am using sharp cheddar cheese, and I'm placing that on top of the pickle, and then top it with another cracker. Now you're going to take that butter mixture that you made earlier and then pour it all over the crackers. Bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for 13 to 15 minutes until they are nice and golden. These were so delicious. I cannot wait to bring these to the next family function because I know everybody is gonna love these.